everyone. How are you today? Okay, can you hear me? So, can you see the screen? Can you see the presentation? Okay. So, welcome to our encounter number 2. It's great to have the opportunity to see you again. So, I am going to share uh, today's agenda. So, first of all, we are going to start with a reflection about using technology in the classroom. Then we are going to watch a video related to that topic. Then we will have like a short feedback in relation to your concept map. And we will see some samples. Then we will talk about next week's activity, that is the avatar creation. We will take a look of the rubric that we are supposed to complete. And finally, we will have some time for questions. Okay, so there is some noise. Correct? Okay, great. Well, so to start, I would like you to look at these 3 questions and to reflect about them, and then I would like to listen to your answer. The first one is, what do you think it is the difference between a traditional and a modern teacher? The second one is, what do you think it should be the role of technology in the classroom? And the third one is, what do you think you can do to integrate technology in your classroom? Okay, so I would like you to take some minutes to think about these 3 questions, and then, if it is possible, please socialize this answer. Okay. The sound is not good. Okay, let me check 1 second. Okay. And is it better now? I don't know. Let me check. No, all of your microphones are mute, so I don't know what is the problem. Yeah, it could be. But can you hear what I say? or not at all? Okay. Um, oh my God. Um, no idea. I don't know what is happening. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I well, so okay, so please, are you ready with the questions? The first one is, what do you think it is the difference between a traditional and a modern teacher? Okay, what do you think?
Good evening, teacher.
Good evening.
So the first I have the first equation. So, what do you think is the difference between traditional and modern teaching? What do you mean the traditional? Because when you try talking about the pedagogy, you try to talking about education, it's really different. It's different. You're talking about the traditional teacher and the modern teacher. Just not for the tools. Yes, that you try to organize a different environments for your students and your practices, your pedagogy strategies with all your works. Yes, but for example, in my personal case, I consider it right now our education structure has some problems because continues doing a traditional. That's how just the student try to transmit the knowledge. I don't try to live in other different things like the balloons or anything so. But if you try to refer to different tools, that's also kind of different because right now in Colombia doesn't have the old tools for you try to put the view in a e-learning situations for you try to improve some kind of words. Yes, but it's also kind of interesting. What do you think? So with the traditional and modern teacher, it's just for a pedagogy, it's just for the tools.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know about your perception. So,
Oh,
well, yeah, what do you think is the difference between a traditional teacher for you and a modern teacher?
okay, now that's good. Okay, that's perfect. The second one, what do you think it should be the role of the technology in the classroom? Wow, that's a really interesting because right now, for example, I have the opportunity to work in a public school. Sometimes it's really difficult to try to have all students, for example, have the internet. They have to the farms or the other ones, but it's possible to try to make some exercises specific
Mm-hmm. Really?
specific for farms or some little tools. Yeah, but it's really important because when you try to show the different things in your class and you use the technology and show exercises with that, the students try to focus or try to understand the different things are very good. So okay, teacher, this is really interesting, and as like to their languages, but it's okay. I mean, right now our students are in a specific Slack for try to refer different words. Yeah, they use modern words, use some different things. It's really important to try to apply to the different technologies in a classroom. But obviously, it's really difficult to try to apply all the technology, all the tools for this one. Yeah, for example, we have some situation with the last. Oh my God, it's so really nuts.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, what is it?
um, and the last activity we think so. Okay, it's possible to try to create all the class online. Yes, because they are different pages, different tools for you to try to interactive exercises. Yeah, but when you try to show the reality of our students, so okay, not everybody, don't everybody have internet, or don't everybody have a computer. Also no problem for example with my school. Yeah, right now, for example, in my classroom, I work with the Edmodo. all the time I try to post exercises, post records, post some kind extra work, not the main work, because I mean, not all my students have the possibility to stay in online 2 or 3 hours, or try to have the different tools. That's just, it's for economic situation, but it is the poor people. That's now. But that's a really but that's really interesting. But the students, okay, try to interact if we're online. They try to make the exercises. Yes, for me that's a really important when you use technology in a classroom. That's a really important paper, but you need to try to, I don't know, so equalities for things on a technology and try different tools, but you need to focus to in a sorry, focus also with the different exercises. That's all. And the last one, what do you think you can do integrate technology in your classroom? I don't know. Maybe this an accident with the last answer. Try to do it. That's it.
Okay, John, thank you very much. I think that
You
you
too.
talk about a key aspect that is like the resources that we have in the classrooms, because sometimes we could think that, well, or we know what the role of technology should be, but well, we have like the obstacles, like the ones that you mentioned, that students do not have the resources, or that they don't have access to internet. And well, what you said, it's true that at public schools it's really difficult to have the resources. But well, that's like a challenge we have, and we have to try to figure out what to do in order to use technology in our classrooms. But yeah, what you said is completely true. Thank you, John.
Thank you so
Uh,
much, teacher. That's all really interesting questions.
okay, thank you. I think Giancarlo wanted to talk, and then we can continue with the talk. Okay, Giancarlo, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Good evening, classmates and teacher.
Good evening. Giancarlo. Uh, okay, sorry, Giancarlo.
Okay. I was getting a message saying that I was being muted. Well,
Uh,
I'll try to answer this quick. The first question is, what do you think is the difference between a traditional and a modern teacher? Pretty much what John said before. I think the traditional teacher is the one who thinks that knowledge should be transmitted to students and is not aware of the reality and changes in terms of the technology that has been taking place in the recent years on the world that has impacted education. Modern teacher, on the other hand, is the one who acknowledges the fact that the world's been changing and that the student is right now at the center of the education process. Therefore, he becomes a facilitator instead of just giving knowledge to students will help students to um, learn by themselves and be more self-aware of their learning and provides through technology the necessary tools for them to go ahead and continue learning and developing by themselves. So that'll be the answer for the first question. In regards to the second question, well, what do you think it should be the role of technology in the classroom? Well, definitely technology is it's a powerful means to bring the real world to the classroom. I believe that's what technology does. It actually brings the world to the classroom by helping students communicate using different tools, by bringing materials that otherwise a student within a classroom would not be able to see or experience. So technology right now, it's a powerful tool that will help learning take place uh, quicker and more effective than it was before when we didn't have the access to all this technology right now. And the third one is, what do you think? What do you think you can do to integrate technology in your classroom? Well, first of all, we need to become aware of the fact that technology is right there. It's an everyday thing. Is when the students come to a classroom. I mean, they're already using technology, so they're already, they know this, and we need to take advantage of the fact that most of the people nowadays they use a cell phone, and they use a computer and they know how to access to a lot of information. And pretty much is what I did in my proposal for the last week work. I mean, we need to use this as an advantage for us to go ahead and generate spaces where they can learn by themselves and actually practice more in the terms of EFL, so that when they come to the classroom, they already come with something. It's not like they're going to come to the classroom and learn things that they can learn by themselves and on their free time and at their own pace. That's pretty much the answer to the 3 questions for me.
Okay, Giancarlo, thank you very much. And it's really interesting what you said about bringing like the real world to the class. That is something that is like, well, we can use technology, but we always have to contextualize what we teach, and that's a really good way to do it. And the third question, what you said, is very related to developing autonomy in students. That it could be like, it should be like something that every teacher should apply in their classroom. So thank you, Giancarlo. Okay, let's continue with Flor.
Okay, teacher, good evening, teacher and classmates. Can you hear me, teacher?
Yeah.
Okay, although I can't listen to you very well, I'm gonna try to answer the 3 important questions. I agree with John Avery and Giancarlo's opinion, because I think that about the first question, what do you think is the difference between a traditional and a modern teacher? I can say that I had the opportunity to work with a board and a piece of chalk. It was a traditional kind of teaching, because in that moment we couldn't access to a different tool in order to transmit knowledge to our students. And many years ago, maybe 25 years ago, we had only we had a few tools in order to share with our students. Maybe we had tools like the book, like some guides, or different strategy that we as a teachers we invent in that moment. But in this moment, in a modern teacher, we have many important strategies or tools in order to share the knowledge with our students, like the technology. For that reason, about the second question, what do you think it should be the role of technology in the classroom? I consider that it's very important for us to approach this tool, because nowadays the majority homes or in the majority families, you can find a computer. So almost all students have can get or can access to technology. So it's very useful for us, and not only for us, but also for our students and families to study, to reach, to find out any information in internet, for example. And about what do you think you can do to integrate technology in your classroom? In this moment nowadays, we can extend our role as a teacher, because we can teach or live this teaching learning process not only into the classroom but only outside, because you can give the students some activities, extra activities. Maybe they can reach on your house about any topic, and we have to approach that, especially youngers in this moment. They love to manipulate their cellular phones, their tablets, their computers. So it's very important that we use this kind of tools in order to improve not only our job as a teacher, but also the students' role in this moment in our society, actually.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Well,
thanks.
related to those questions, we are going to watch a short video. It's related to the use of technology by a modern teacher and by a traditional teacher. So I would like you to watch the video and then I will ask you some other questions related. Okay? So, well, I hope you can hear, but okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to give you the link in case the sound is not good. So this is the link, but I will try to play the video. Okay. Uh, are you able to see the video? No? Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, now. Okay, that's great.
Hey guys, welcome to your first day of school at Open Christian. My name is Joe, and I gotta tell you, this class is going to be a blast. Yeah, you with me? All right, sure. Yeah. I want to take your seat, please. Hey, welcome to Thunder High. I want you to write down, turn in your book, please, to page 8. Start to read chapter 1 as I get my set up. Thank you. Kids, this is very technological. Awe inspired. Wasn't that a great YouTube video? Hopefully it illustrated the point of please turn in your books and index on page 357. You notice that it correlates the cross-reference on page 17, the chart and diagram on page 12. What I especially like about this chart is that the researchers at Yale University figured out that the earlier study was, get this is exciting, it was accurate. Did you guys enjoy your interactive lessons? Just this virtual tour of ancient Egypt and teleported back in time? This multicolored flip chart juxtaposes 25-page article well beyond the text. I want you to pay special attention to the graphs that are on page 17, 16, and then page 5. And I don't think it will take longer than an each or two to memorize. But the test is tomorrow. Well, then I would advise you start reading. Page on the graph, I want you to notice. I also want to remind you to visit my website site. Also, hit that video box with a great video with information. Yeah, I haven't done it. Not a problem. I'll send it to your house, log in at home, take this out, and take care of it that way. Hey, you guys have a great day. Have a great day, mate. I'll connect up on video chat. All right? Come on. No problem. Let's just step back. Yeah, right there. There you go. All right. As you're working on your problem, we'll take a look at Maslow's theory. This is very dynamic. In fact, every time I think about it, a chill runs up and down my leg. Now you'll notice what's here. There is a paradigm shift. Yes, that. And even said it. Whatever, we're discussing Maslow's theory, but absolutely not. That will you please see me after class? Now let's get back to Maslow's theory. Now, the one I noticed with me, there's a paradigm shift. With the vertical and the horizontal. It makes total sense. Just think about it. Great. Anybody else have any questions? Class, we received some additional funding. So class is going to be extra exciting today. We have some new technology that we want to show you kids, and it will be rather exciting. Now, as you recall in our lesson on economics, that there at one time was kids we understand that they're chain of land. This exciting and how that all works on there. That's what I love about this technology. So much with it. We had the dogs, we had lions and tigers, and we had, you guessed it, bears. Man comes on the scene and man looks over on a distant shore and he says, boy, I could sure use those animals for economic things. Finally, man makes his way over from the long swim of many days to the young life. Now we're told by studying his thoughts that men got to things for better swimmers. Because their arms still like 5, no 1 5, it's almost a 5 strike. Let's move on.
Okay. So, okay, give me 1 second. Yes, of course. Uh, okay, give me 1 second. I share my screen and then you go. Okay, Carlos, go ahead.
Well, actually, what an interesting video. And actually, what I can see in it is that sometimes, on purpose or without purpose, we make mistakes and we have to recognize that. Since I'm a technology teacher nowadays, I saw in that video some of the things that I have to overgrade in my teaching methodology. Definitely, yes. But going back about that simple opinion that I have is that one of the teacher could be considered the traditional teacher style, which is a teacher that just is taking how much the students study, how much the students recitate and memorize, and he is the self-center of the class. He's the active person in the class. He has the dominus, he has the power, and students are passive into the classroom. They don't have another role. But in the other side, we have a teacher, a great teacher, that provides to the students the self-student center and autonomous learning as well, and opening spaces to learn in a very easy ambient where the students the students are learning with a purpose and with a meaning. And actually, that's our main goal in a class. That at the end of the class, the student feels that he or she really learned rather than get a grade 1 to 5. So it reminds me a simple quote that it says that teachers are good, but others inspire to be good. So thank you very much for the video. Actually, it touches me professionally talking. Thank you.
Okay, Carlos. And now thank you for your opinion and well, what you said completely true. Well, sometimes we make mistakes, and I think that uh, I can say that you feel or you felt identified with both teachers because sometimes, well, it's very difficult to be like very technological and to be completely like a modern teacher. Sometimes we have some things that are a little bit old-fashioned, and it's difficult to be like the teacher that was in the video. Sometimes the reality is different, but yeah, what we try to do is to develop autonomy in students. Well, the class should be student-centered because the traditional teacher was the one that was working all of the time. The students were doing nothing, and that was, I think, that was one of his mistakes. But okay, thank you, Carlos. Carolina, you want to continue? And then we continue with Arlene.
Yes, of course. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry for being late. And actually, I'm having some problems with my internet, so I hope you can hear me well.
Yeah.
Okay, about the first question, what do you think is the difference between the two teachers in the video? I consider that this video, it's a good opportunity, as Carlos says. Maybe we can like evaluate ourselves about how's the way we are teaching. Actually, we can see the traditional teacher who feels the owner of the class, who is always talking, and we just have the students sitting down listening to what do you say, or what do you think, without giving them the opportunity to participate, to create their critical thinking. Yeah, like we are not giving them opportunities to talk, to do anything. And on the other hand, we have the technological teacher, who is the one I think all the kids dream with. Because it's the teacher who is always like very active, who is always trying to do their best, his or her best. Is the one who is looking for different tools So I can feel identified with the technological teacher because fortunately I'm working for a good school, so I have the tools, the time, and the opportunity to do it. So I think that these videos have to inspire us to like do our best, work hard, because it's hard. You just said that we have to deal with different aspects, like the familiar situation of the kids, like different kind of stuff that we have to take into account. But it's very important that we give to the students what they need. We have to keep that in mind.
Okay, Carolina, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, let's continue with Arley.
Hello, teacher. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Arley. How are
Okay,
you?
thank you. Thank you so much. I'm great. How are you doing, teacher?
Great, thanks.
Okay, great. I like it. Well, actually, this video is like an excellent opportunity to analyze, right? To analyze ourselves. Why? Because like maybe I admit that I was like some years ago, I was one of the teachers that I was just interested on like teaching the topics that I had to do, and I had to cover like some topics, and at the end I had to evaluate the students for them to demonstrate that they had learned the knowledge that I have taught them. But actually, though I admit I was interested on them for, I'm sorry, for them to learn, but I didn't use all the strategies, and I didn't do all the necessary for them to do it. I just gave them knowledge, and I just like told the students that they had all the responsibility to study something that maybe they didn't like. So maybe this is one of the most important things that technology provides, and is that it gives the students the chance to um, understand a little bit more, and understand that what we're teaching them is not something that maybe they don't live, or it doesn't belong to them, because it is something that they need, but we have to let them discover that. Why? Because if we as a teacher we're just interested on giving the topic and that's it, they are not going to be interested in that. But if we do some strategies and some activities for them to learn, and for them to be interested and engaged with the topic and with everything they have to do, they will be more interested, and it is not necessary for us to tell them like do it, because they are going to be interested on doing that, and they are going to be responsible or on their own knowledge, because they are going to be interested in doing that. Actually, they are going to be the ones that are going to be asking the teacher, how do you do that, or are going to be like engaged with their own process, because we're going to be giving them the necessary tools for them. But it's like teaching them the way, but no giving them the answer, and it helps a lot the students to understand and improve all of those skills.
Okay, Arley. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue with Liliana.
Hi, teacher. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, Liliana.
Well, when I was watching the video, I feel uncomfortable, because most of the time in my school, I really don't use the technology. I feel a traditional teacher, because I noticed that the teachers that manage technology try that the students improve their own skills, and they have to research. They have the tools. Each student have the computer, but in my case, we have a computer in a library. We have a video bin there, and I have to share with other classes, social studies, ethic, well, all the subjects, all the teachers have to use just one computer, one video bin, one special classroom. And for that, I feel most of the time identify with the traditional teacher. And I think that we can improve that with using a platform, Edmodo platform. Uh, in my school, just one teacher managed that platform. The technology teacher is just the person that managed that platform. But I think that it's better that all the teachers manage that technology in order to improve our students' skills. Because as Carolina says, in other places like United States, they have a lot of materials in the classroom. They have a video beam for each classroom. They have a intelligent board. They have, well, a lot of things. So I think that we have to improve our our profession.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Liliana. Yeah, the idea was to reflect upon this about the use of technology in the classroom. Well, I know that it's very difficult to be completely technological, but well, the idea is to reflect about our instruction, the use of resources we are implementing in our classes, and well, the video is when I first saw the video, I felt identified with both teachers, with the traditional one and with the modern one. But I almost died when I saw the students' faces because, well, they said everything and the teacher didn't realize the
Yeah.
way they were feeling. But yeah, the idea is to reflect about our instruction in the classroom, the way we use technology, and to try to improve. And while during the course, we are going to see different resources, different strategies to start with that process because it's a long process, it's difficult, but the important
Yeah.
thing is to know that we have to change something. Okay,
Our mind. Yeah. Thank you, teacher.
thank you, Liliana. Okay, Sharon, are you going to continue? Sharon? Sharon, I cannot hear you. Okay, Joanna, and then we continue with Sharon.
Good evening, teacher.
Good evening, Joanna. How are you?
Um, a little sick, teacher. Today was up on the clinic, and I have a signal, but I want to participate, and I am on my bed, so I'm sorry. I want to talk about the traditional teacher and the modern teacher, but I think that the importance is to be trained. Yes, it's not use the technology, it's not use the tools. I think that the teachers have to know how use it is important. You can have a video beam, you can have a YouTube, you can have anywhere. But if you cannot use or you don't know how to use or how to express or how to catch the student attention, that is unhelpful for the students or for the class. And I think that the training is really, really important. Maybe the own trainer, maybe the school trainer with the use of the new technologies. And I know that, for example, in my school, use the Cambridge books, and the Cambridge all times try to train the teacher with the use of the platform. So they use the videos, or they use the workbook, the student book, and that is really, really important. I know some teacher, English teacher, that it's difficult for them is, and sometimes a problem to use at a video being, or maybe to download a video to show the students or anywhere. And I think that the training is really important. For example, I am a math teacher in elementary school, and I use a book called Go Math that is really big book. It's about 600 pages. That is a lot. And I try to show the students to catch their attention. Obviously, depend the topic, because not all the topics in math can be used with or show using a video. Or I think that depend. In geometry, I use a lot of videos, and I try to show different tools, or try to go out with the students to motivate the learning. Maybe using another things, not use the technology. I think that is important. I think the technology is a tool, but it's not all the teaching, the fun to teach. I think so. And with the video, I think that sometimes I'm the both and a traditional teacher when I try to explain an important, obviously, or it's important, but maybe when I try to teach the process for example, I know with how you add on a fraction or how you convert a mixed number to fraction anywhere. I think that sometimes I am a traditional teacher, but maybe with another topics I can use, or I can be a technological teacher, for say that from name. And I think that yes, it's important, but for me the trainer is important for each teacher.
Okay, Joanna, thank you very much. And that's something really important, training, because as you could see in the video, the traditional teacher received more budget, but he continued being traditional with his poster and the donkey and the animal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he was not trained to use technology. And yeah, what you said is really important. Okay. Sharon says, I think that it's very important, the motivation and the aims that the teacher share with students. Yeah, that's really important. Motivation and to set goals, clear goals. And Arley says, but it's not only about using technology, it is also about using the tools that you have on your hands to make them easier, the learning process. Yeah, well, as we said, sometimes we don't have the resources, but we have to take advantage of the few resources that we have in our classes. Mayra says, I believe that the fact that we tend to teach in a traditional way has to do with the way most of us were taught, but we definitely have to make an effort to adapt to the tech times we live in. Yeah, sometimes we teach the same way we were taught, and it's difficult to change that, but we have to. Okay, very good. Continue, Rafael.
Can you hear me now?
Shannon?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
But it's a little bit difficult. I think the volume is very low.
Now? Hello, hello. No, I think it's failing this thing.
Shannon, if you want, you can try to fix that, and let's continue with Rafael, and then you try again. Okay, Rafael, go ahead.
Hi, teacher. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, teacher, I would like to make a short reflection about the situation in the video. And well, in the case of the traditional teacher, I think that there is a big difference, yeah. And in my personal case, the traditional teacher, as others do, because sometimes the place where, or the places where I've worked, I have had the opportunity to watch when or observe when they are teaching, and I know teachers from, for example, they were my teachers like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was in school. and I observe when they are teaching, and is the same when I was learning. The same things, the same activities. They write they write vocabulary, long vocabulary list on the board, and the students start writing, and kind of that, yeah. So I reflection about that, and I become aware that I can, and I don't want to be the same, and I have that reflection in myself. So the situation is that the modern teacher in the video, he doesn't feel comfortable. He wants to try new things. He wants to try different things. He wants to integrate technology in the classroom, and he thinks in the student's position, because I think that we have to do that. We have to think how the student feels when a teacher is in front of him, and we have to like be in their position, in their shoes, to know how they think when you as a teacher put a boring activity, and that we have to be aware when activities are boring. Students don't want to work, they don't want to participate, they don't want to do anything in class, and that is a worriness that we have to be conscious of that. When class boring, we have to be worried about it, because it is the progress, it is the process of learning in students that we have to improve and know that they reduce that process of learning. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Rafael.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Sarah, you want to say something?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, my case is very different. I am an English tutor. I don't work in school. I have 10 students, so I can realize when one of my students have a traditional teacher, due to their learning process is very different. For example, I have a student of the 6th grade, and one of their homeworks is to repeat the word swim many times in the notebook, or to do lines with numbers, nouns, or adjectives in order to learn them. So the teacher use the memory. Don't introduce the technology. Don't introduce another activities. For example, in my case, I identify with both because sometimes my students are used to only with an specific tools or methodologies which studying in their schools. And another of my students to distract with videos, don't pay attention with the grammar, for example, or no, only to distract with the cartoons or the music. So I think that is depend on the situation. As I said, my classmate before, I don't work in an institute, but I think it's complicated in when we are teaching on kids. Due to the technology is maybe distract for them, but there are many so it depends on the situation of the stage of the school.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Carlos says something really important. He says, I think that the video was a parody about the traditional teacher. It's clear that we nowadays we have to use technology in our lessons because our students are growing with technology devices, but in my opinion, to be a traditional teacher is not that bad, because I think that most people in this group learn in a traditional way, and I'm pretty sure we are good professionals, so I think it is not really how much we can use technology, it's the way you transmit the knowledge and the way you keep motivation in our. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the video is a little bit exaggerated because The traditional teacher has like all the characteristics a traditional teacher could have. Everything together. Well, some traditional teachers don't have all of those weaknesses. Some modern teachers, well, I think that every teacher has something traditional and has something to be modern. Yeah, we have, I think that we have things from both kind of teachers, and what you said is true. Well, we can have all the technological resources that we can have in our schools, but the important thing is the way you transmit your knowledge. You can have everything, you can have computers and smart boards, but if you don't know how to use them, well, it's going to be something waste. But yeah, thank you for your reflection, Carlos. Well, I think, well, we are running out of time. So thank you for your participation. Your opinions are really interesting, really valuable. But well, I would like to continue with the presentation. So here, well, I haven't finished grading your concept maps. I think that I'm missing 3 or 4 students, but I think that almost everyone has the corresponding grade. Okay, Rafael, don't worry. I just wanted to give you like a very quick feedback. Okay, Carolina, yes, I know. Well, in relation to, I'm sorry, this is not the slide. Okay, okay. Well, something that we have to keep in mind when doing a concept map are like the phases to make it. Well, this is something for your future concept maps. So if you do this, it's going to be easier to organize your ideas. So first of all, we can have like a brainstorming phase where you identify facts, vocabulary, and ideas. Then we have an organizing phase where you make groups or groups, hierarchies. Then we have like a layout phase where you try to come up with an arrangement. Then we have like a linking phase where you join concepts, look for appropriate linking words. That is something really important in a concept map, linking words. And then finally you have, well, the final stage where you convert the concept map into a permanent form. Yep. I would like to show you some, well, these are just 3 samples. There are many concept maps that were really good, but I chose just 3 that I consider were well developed and had a good design, a good use of linking words. So you can have an idea of what was expected from you in relation to the concept map. It was like a mix of content, like organizing the content, choosing the most important aspects of learning, and also the way you design your concept map, the use of linking words, the amount of text, you using the boxes, and how easy it was to read. For example, here, I think that a concept map should be like a test. That you can read it and it sounds like it is a test. For example, here you have in the middle e-learning. So you have e-learning is a solution to share knowledge at a virtual meeting point. Or for example, e-learning is accessible and has availability of resources such as video conferencing and debate forums and chats to exchange information, solve problems easily and quickly. Yeah, so you have the ideas very clear that you can read them. So, well, this is an example. There is another one. Well, it is the same. It is very easy to read, so I'm going to start with the idea on the left. We have E-learning definitions. Okay, you have first is a learning system based on formalized teaching with the help of electronic resources, or well, in you have another one that blended learning is a term which is used to describe the way e-learning is being combined with traditional classroom methods and digital media. Well, this is another one that was very good. Here we have the last one. Uh, this was very concise, but it had almost all the relevant information. So you have e-learning. For example, in the middle, e-learning has multiple benefits such as self-efficacy, self-directed learning, self-paced learning, intelligent adaptive learning, or you have it's mediated through virtual learning environments where interaction occurs synchronously and asynchronously. Well, so these are just some examples for you to have an idea. And for next opportunities where you have to make a concept map. Okay. Well, most of you did a great job. You included really important information. I could notice that you did a great effort to present something good. In relation to the weaknesses, I think that we need to improve the use of linking words because sometimes, or some of you use not linking words but titles. Like there were not words to connect concepts, but it was like you use like nouns, for example, advantages, disadvantages, tools, and those are not words that connect ideas. Yeah. Well, so very good. I think that by tomorrow, the 3 or 4 students that are missing the grade, well, you will have it tomorrow in your virtual classroom. In relation to the activity that we have to present for next week, well, I think this is a very funny activity and it's very easy, and it's the avatar creation. So here you have like the guidelines. They are in the study guide, but well, I just want to remind you about them. So what you have to do is to write a short personal presentation, including aspects or things that you like and do not like to do. You can write in first person, for example, my name is Carol, I'm 29 years old, or in third person, as you prefer. Practice the way you would record your presentation. Pay close attention to punctuation and accurate pronunciation of your message. Organize your information in such a way it lasts a maximum of 1 minute. Please take this into account. Maximum of 1 minute. If time is too short for you, you can create 2 avatars. One with the presentation and another one with things you like and dislike. Access one of the suggested websites for the creation of avatars. Well, you're going to find some suggestions in the study guide, or if you want to use a different one, you can do it. You must record your own voice. Record 1 minute of the presentation that you prepared. Save and publish your character and share it in the forum. You have to share the link in the forum, and remember that in every forum, it's important you comment about your partner's products and about your experience developing that task. Okay, make sure your comments promote discussions through creative ideas or questions, and keep in mind that participation in the forum will be graded in this assignment. When you have forums, you are going to find participation in the rubric, so please take that into account. Yeah, you can use any tool you want to make the avatar. Okay. This is the rubric that I'm going to use to grade your avatar. So I'm going to assess the use of the web tool, the content of the message, the participation in the forum, contributions to classmates' products, and use of one. Okay, so that is the activity that we have for next week. So I think that by tomorrow I will finish checking your your concept maps, and I will start checking your virtual learning environment architecture forms, and that's it. Okay, Sarah, tell me your question.
Teacher, thank you. In the guides say that the activity is individual and the rubrics say the activity is in groups. So I have that. Please tell me what is the correct.
The activity about the Google Drive,
yes,
is in groups. I'm sorry, there is a mistake. It's in groups.
It's in groups?
Yeah.
How many students? Pairs or groups?
I think that it could be like maximum 4 people. 3, 4.
Okay. Okay, thank you, teacher.
Okay, I'm going to check that because I didn't notice there was a mistake there. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay. Okay, okay, Giancarlo. Okay, do you have questions, comments? No? Okay. Sharon, yeah, tell me. Yeah, for today it's just the Google Drive protection. Yeah. You have to make your reflection using Google Drive, and you have to share the link in the forum so everyone can have access to it. No. The avatar, no. You just have to share the link of your avatar in the forum. The Google Drive reflection is just for this week. It is suggested that you make a draft of what you are going to say in your avatar, using your avatar. But it's not necessary to send it to me. Okay? Okay, Naomi, tell me. What is your question? Well, there are some tools that you can use to, yeah. The Google Drive reflection is in groups and the avatar activity is individually. Yeah, that's correct. The avatar is, well, if you read the study guide, you are going to find all the details there. But yeah, we're about to finish. We started at 8 o'clock. But you can see the recording, okay? So you can catch up with what we did today. Remember that the encounter is at 8. Okay. Well, more questions? Okay, very good. Well, so thank you very much for attending the session. Remember that if you want to ask something, comment something, tell me something, you can use the forums, you can use the messages section of the virtual classroom, you can write to my email. So it's okay, feel free to contact me. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night, have a good week, rest, and see you next class. Goodbye.